exciting talent. I wish he hadn't scored the wonder goal that he did, but that's when you get punished, because our early chances when we had one cleared off the line, Farouk was in great positions to score, but on another day will. But that's the ones that you take your chances. We could be leading 2-0 in that game. So of course the learnings from that game, yeah, be clinical when your chances present yourself, and equally at the back, because we made, not particularly last week, it was a couple of wonder goals, but certainly a Adisha game we made some mistakes defensively, and that's about, you obviously tighten up in that area, and when you're creating chances as you do, make sure you put them in the back of the net.
Players? Question for Romario? Yes. Hi Romario, I'm Raghu from Goldquist. It all started for you at the Nehru Stadium. How excited are you about putting on the Chennaiyin jersey for the first time at Nehru Stadium? First question number one. I have another question.
It's a dream for me.
Tamil is okay. Tamil is okay.
Portuguese also okay.
Portuguese also.
Yeah.
எனக்கு ரொம்ப ஹாப்பி. நான் வந்து ஒரு 5 to 6 years முன்னாடி வந்து மேட்ச் பார்த்துருக்கேன் மெண்டோசா அவங்களாம் விளையாடும் போது. ஸோ அதே கிரவுண்டில் வந்து என்னோட டெபியூ பண்ணுறதுக்கு ரொம்ப ஹாப்பி.
இன்னொரு கேள்வி வந்து how comfortable are you playing as right back?
சார் இப்போ இருக்க சுச்சுவேஷனுக்கு வந்து எந்தெந்த எல்லா கோச்சுக்கும் வந்து பிளேயர்ஸ் வந்து எல்லா ஆப்ஷனும் விளாடணும். ஸோ எனக்கு வந்து ரொம்ப கம்ஃபர்டபுள் தான் ரைட் பேக் விளாட்றது. ஸோ எனக்கு ஒன்றும் பிரச்சனைலாம் கிடையாது.
In answer to your question, sir, I would like to say, because it's important, obviously Romario being a local boy as well, it's really important because we want to have that identity, and I've got no doubts within the state of Tamil Nadu there's huge talent out there. So that's something we want to encourage, something we want to develop. And when Romario plays, he plays on merit, because not is he only an outstanding footballer, he's an outstanding young man, and he has a huge career ahead of him. So again, like Ryan's obviously played at a high level all his days, and he'll help and encourage these young boys, but that's what we want to do, grow and develop these young players. So as I say, the longer this season goes, there's no doubt the better we will become. We will continue to progress not only this season but into next season, and of course everybody wants to win straight away. I understand that, but you've got to understand it's a process. It's one day at a time. It's like I always equate it to a ladder, and if you look at obviously Chennai and the club, our recent performances, we're starting a little bit down that ladder, so we have to take the steps up that rung of the ladder to get to those top levels. But we will. It'll take time, but we will get there, rest assured.
Coach, you spoke very confidently in your opening remarks. How confident is the team? Because not scoring in the first 2 matches must have affected the team.
No, I think that's a very, very good question. That's a fantastic footballing question, because ordinarily in football, if you lose a game, everybody thinks it's the end of the world. If you win a game, everybody thinks you're Barcelona, and the truth is it's somewhere in the middle. So I think the players, of course, they recognise that within both games they could have different times been in front, but ultimately you weren't, and we lost both games, so that's a reality. And of course confidence is key in football, but the players know the steps, they know the process we're taking, and that's why they'll be fine. They'll be looking forward to it. Of course every time you get a punch in the nose, nobody wants that, but it happens in football. That's the nature of the game. So you either do one or two things: you feel sorry for yourself, which I won't allow this group to do, or you pick yourself up and you're ready to go again, you're ready to improve, and that's what we'll look to do. So of course winning games helps confidence, absolutely. But again, if you look within the league, there's been a lot of games that's been very tight. We just have to make sure we're the best version of what we can be and look to improve for ourselves first and foremost. Thank you.
This is Nilatri from Telugu. I wanted to ask you, refereeing has been an issue over the years in ISL. Do you see any hope this season in terms of officiating?
Well, the first thing I've got to say is I think coaching is a big responsibility, a huge job, but refereeing is a difficult job. We only have to look at what happened in the best league in the world, the English Premier League, with VAR, to understand it's a difficult job for the referees. My issue will always be that there will be little fouls here and there that probably not key, but the important one is trying to get the big decisions correct. If we get the big decisions correct, then I think as coaches, then you sleep well at night. You don't when you think something's been taken from your team. Because as a head coach, I always say this to players: playing days are the best days of your life. Play as long as you can, because if you play well, the coach will pick you. But as a coach, you're not only responsible for a team, sometimes you're responsible for a huge city, and everything that goes with that. So it's not something we take lightly. That's why, in terms of the refereeing decisions, that's why at the side of the field sometimes you'll see us animated, because we think, well, hold on a minute, it's a big responsibility, so just get the big decisions right. And if we get them right, then there's no problem. But it is, I mean, it's a huge challenge for the referees, I understand that. The other thing I think as well, and this is only me to make us better, I think there's got to be an understanding and probably a mutual respect between the coaches and the referees. But it's a two-way street. It can't just be, but it is a big task. Hopefully, we are getting better. And I think the proof will be in the pudding over the... And again, it does get difficult. There's some decisions in the last few games that we look at and you think, well, but they're hard to call because they have like a millisecond to make that decision. They don't have a VAR review, and even then, that's shown sometimes to be human error as well. So I think as long as it's... you always say it evens up. I'm not a big believer in that, I've got to say. But it is what it is. Hopefully, they're getting better. Hopefully, they're understanding. I know, obviously, Mr. Kettle's working hard with them, trying to improve. And hopefully we do, because we want the games to be decided on the merit on the field, not on a decision that's went the wrong way.
Good afternoon, everyone. Best wishes for tomorrow's game. Ryan, this is for you. When you sign
organization, so he knows.
Hi, this is Srivatsan from Times of India. Ryan, this question is for you. When you signed for the club, Coach Owen White said that you are a real leader and you would be one who would lead the young players in the team. You joined only a couple of days before the first match, so how well have you settled into life in Chennai?
Great, straight away. Obviously, it took a lot more time than what I thought it would, and for me to get in the door, ideally, it'd have been a lot earlier. Of course, it would, but it's a group full of good young players as well as experience as well. So the balance is there, and from what I've done and the player I've been and the person I've been through my career, with my experience now, I must help the younger lads. It's a key role in not only my position, but in me as a person. And I think there's plenty of talent in the group. Now we just need the leaders in the group to demand and get that expectation amongst ourselves, so we compete to be where we want to be.
Yes.
Earlier you mentioned Thapa and Vishal came with you here. So for someone like Thapa who has spent almost 7 years with this club, what kind of an impact will it be, tomorrow at the game, and especially on the defensive midfield?
Yeah, well, listen, I've been very fortunate because I've worked with Thapa, and when you work with, when we look at the league, and we see very good players, and we are full of admiration because we know they're very good players. But when you get to work with them, then you see the real qualities, and then it gives you a better and a clearer understanding of qualities. Thapa for me, and there are some very good players in the country, but Thapa is the best Indian midfield player in the country. Any team would be very fortunate to have him. Mohan Bagan recognised that, and obviously he was coming into his last year of his contract, and they made an offer, and now Thapa finds himself. So the first thing I hope, and I've got no doubts, he'll get a fantastic reception from our fans for everything, because he poured his heart and his soul, as Vishal did. And once that first whistle goes in, that reception's finished, he's then a Mohan Bagan player. And we have to do our very best to win the game. But there's no doubt, both of them are hugely talented players, Indian internationals, full of quality, and they've been good for Chennai, but they've got to understand as they will that this club have been amazing for them, to give them the platform, to give them the projection, and to give them the quality of football, and how well they were looked after by this football club. Because this club and the owners, I mean, they're fantastic people, very honourable. The club is so well run. So we'll give them a great reception. We're thankful for all the hard work and quality that they gave us. But when that first whistle goes, they know we'll be doing everything as they did in the power to win the game for Chennai. But yeah, it'll be wonderful to see them, because we're full of admiration for them as human beings as well, not just as footballers. Really, really good men. But when the whistle starts, they know we'll be doing everything we can to try and win that game. Yeah.
Rahim, a lot of people will be watching the match tomorrow in Calcutta because Mohan Bagan is playing. Will you be extra motivated to play well against the Kolkata team? How do you approach matches against East Bengal and Mohan Bagan?
Yes, it is motivation for me, for my team, and yes, they have a good side, so we are prepared very well. We work so hard for that, and yes, of course, we are ready for the match, and yes, we are ready for the match, and we know what to do for tomorrow's match, and yes, we are focused for that, and we have to mentally be very strong for that.
You just came back from international duty, and you've been following the games, I'm sure. What do you think you can bring to this side that you'll have now?
Yes, I saw 2 matches. Unfortunately, we lose. But yes, we try so hard for the match, and sometimes we lose, sometimes we win. This is part of football life. But yes, of course, tomorrow is a tough match for us and for them also. Make sure we will fight for the match, and of course, we will do better.
Hi, I'm Sanchar from Rahim. This question. Obviously, everyone is talking about the team maybe not able to score in the first 2 minutes. Is that giving you a little bit more pressure on you just coming back to score as an attacker? Also, how's it play with the foreign strikers like someone like Corner and Shields?
Yes, foreigners also are good. They are very motivated for the match. And yes, no, I don't have pressure to score goals, but I will try to score goals, because if you score the goals, hopefully we win the match. And we try to not concede a goal in the first minute, and for that we have to organize from the back, and we try to score in the first half. So if we score the first half, then we get the confidence, then we can go forward.
Coach, I'm Mugan from IFWC.
Hi, sir.
What do you think is the best position for corner shapes? Whether it's a striker or winger?
Anna, photos after for sure. One more. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I got the voice question. You okay? You ready?
Can we just not talk? Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, I got your question. Yeah. So Connor can play anywhere across across the front positions. And again, I think Connor will tell you himself. Adisha, he was very angry with himself because he had a wonderful chance from a great cross from Akash to put his 1-0 in front. But he worked so hard for the team. He's had a little, in truth, he's had a little niggly ankle for the first couple of games, but he's trained really well this week, looks back more like himself. And what we do have, obviously, if we have competition for places up front as well. Raheem is obviously, over the years, some people have operated him wide. Raheem knows I love Raheem through the middle, so it gives us different options. Obviously, we have Jordan. If Jordan was available, we really have big options up front. So I think that's been part of the calculation. We're not even to probably tomorrow, we've still probably not got our best team on the field yet, but that's why it's a progression. But these boys, they'll score goals. I'd be more worried, as I said, if we hadn't made chances. We could have scored 2 or 3 very easily at Adisha. Again at North East, some wonderful chances. Keeped a couple of great saves, even the great save from young Nintoy in the second half. He had a wonderful run as well. So we have exciting players, and of course the key to that, as a forward myself, never ever be afraid to miss chances. You have to miss to be able to score. I had a career from it. I was very fortunate. I scored a lot of goals in my career, but equally I missed as many as I scored. But the thing is, you got to be brave and you put yourself in those positions again, because if you don't, you'll never score. So these boys know that. We work on a daily basis. You miss a chance, okay, you go and you get the next one. And in Jordan Murray and Connor Shields and Raheem Ali and these boys, young Irfan, we have goal scorers. So as we move forward, we'll be in amongst the goals, so we don't worry about that. But of course, it'd be nice to get the balance and have everybody available to then, even from the impact of changing things coming off the bench. So that's something that we, again, is a weekly process. But yeah, I mean, we have exciting players, we have fast players, and we're looking forward to the challenge of playing against, listen, a wonderful team. Moenbagen, I think it's 9 wins in a row, all credit to them, and every one of those that they've deserved. So we have to make sure we're ready for that. But for us, it's exciting. It's the first home game. As I say, you don't have to look at the league to see the projection of points that came from playing at home. We have to make sure 4 of our next 5 games are at home. We have to make sure we're ready to cash in on those points, but equally continue the progress in terms of what we want to do as a team. And of course, that takes time. But as I say, we're looking forward to tomorrow for sure.
Last 2 questions.
Hello, coach.
Hi, son.
Rahul from Sports Kira. So, Moenbagen have been really fluid in attack this season, and they arguably have the best set of drivers in the league. So do you think you have to change your approach a bit to contain that attacking?
No, we won't change our approach. I mean, we're full of respect, which is important. And Mo and Bagan have fantastic players for a reason, because they're able to spend all that money. You know, that's very simple, isn't it? If you have big money, you go and you sign ready-made players. We, as I say, is a different project in terms of we sign younger players and players that we can grow and develop and turn into those very good players. But when you have that spending power, then similar to Mumbai, Odisha have invested, a lot of clubs have invested heavily. They're able to buy ready-made players. You know, Jason Cummings was the best player in Australia last year. You're able to buy Jason Cummings. Sadiku's an Albanian international. You know, the lads they already have from last season who were champions with them as well. So, you know, they are fantastic players, and all credit to them. But we have very good players here, so we'll be more than very respectful of ATK. But we're not going there to stand back and admire. We're at home. We're looking to put a smile on our fans' faces. We're looking to play in the front foot, be aggressive in terms of how we play, attacking, and that's what we look to do. And to win the game, there's no doubt we have to be at our very best. But if we are, we're capable of winning the game, and that's the way we'll set about the game.
Last question.
Coach, you take a bit of time in putting your philosophy in a squad. Has been the case with Chennai and Jamshedpur.
Yeah.
Playing against Mohun Bagan now, a very powerful side on paper. How do you approach?
Yeah, I think you're right on that. But there's a reason for that in terms of, you know, what you mentioned about Jamshedpur and Chennai. There's a reason for that. The reason for that is because the models are different. You know, if you want to say to me, okay, Owen, there's the biggest budget in the league, then I'll have a ready-made team tomorrow, because it's easy to sign those ready-made players. But when you don't, this is the coach's job. You have to then find a way and a plan that's going to help that football club, it's going to help the players, and that's what we do. That's why we've been champions wherever we've been, because we know what we're doing. Now, sometimes, again, if you have the huge wealth, you can have it like that. But if you don't, then you have to have something that you build, as we did at Jamshedpur. And again, a lot of similarities. Jamshedpur were a team that never ever been in the playoffs. And again, even last season, that team of champions I had finished down at the bottom. So we know what we're doing. It takes time to do it. I mean, without the old quotes, but Rome wasn't built in a day. This is going to take time, but as we take time and take steps, we can still be competitive. We can still win to get to the grand big picture and end up. So of course, I'm excited about that. I love working with young players. I like bringing boys in that are leaders, very similar to Peter Hartley that did Jamshedpur in many ways. A real leader, a real character, and a very good footballer, and adding to the mix we have. So when we put all those bits together, because it is a jigsaw, it's putting all those pieces together, then over the course of time we'll get to where we need to be. So there's got to be obviously a little bit of understanding, a little bit of patience with that, but within that we still want to be winning games as we're doing it. So as I said, nothing's changed from coming in from day one in terms of seeing the picture of what we need to do. It takes time, it takes hard work, it takes repetition, and ultimately it takes really good players, and that's what we'll build. But we're excited, we're looking forward to it, and I can't wait tomorrow to get out in that stadium. Holds a lot of really good memories. My last game at that stadium was the semi-final playoff against Goa, where it was probably one of the best performances from a Chennaiyin team, and there's been some fantastic Chennaiyin teams over the early years. What we have to do is get back to giving that again, and that takes time, it takes hard work, but it's exciting and we're looking forward to it, and we'll stick together in the course of doing that, because that's the key. There will be, to the gentleman's question earlier, when you don't win, of course, it can eat away at confidence with players. Not with me, because I know, I've been so many years in the game, I know what it takes. So of course we'll continue working on that, continue to foster and grow that spirit, those young players, and as I say, exciting league, some fantastic coaches, Juan Fernando's done. And this is the other thing as well, because having big budgets as well, it makes it easier, it doesn't make it easy. So I think he's done a tremendous job there, because within those big signings and big characters, there's an awful lot for a coach to deal with. So I think Juan Fernando deserves huge, enormous praise for that, him and his staff. But I look forward to seeing him tomorrow. But he knows, as I do, when that first whistle goes, our focus is entirely on our own team and make sure we do our best to win a very tough match.
Last question.
Coach, how confident are you in Indian centre backs?
How confident? Yeah, I think, well, again, it goes back to what we're speaking about. I think young Bikash in particular, who's played the games, I think young Bikash has a big future ahead of him if he continues to listen, to learn. Ryan and Laza and boys like that will help him grow. So of course, I think not only the centre backs but the young Indian players all over. You know, I think they have an exciting future if they continue as we always do, listen, learn, and get better. And for me, that's huge satisfaction when I see young Indian players improving. I love that. So hopefully that will continue. I'm excited. I've got to say I'm excited for Raheem because having seen his progress from season 6 to where he is now, but he'll know, as I tell him every day, now's the time for Raheem to kick on, because with all due respect, you know, Sunil Shetty won't last forever. He's been an amazing player, Sunil, and he continues to defy his age, but it's time for somebody now to step up, as Raheem's doing in the national team, and saying, yeah, I'm going to be the next one to step into that fold, and he'll get every chance to do that.
Okay. Thank you everyone. We'll do a quick photo and video op because there are a lot more people now. So
Thanks very much. Thanks for the time. Thank you for your time.
photos.
Around photo, video. Yes.
Stand.
Stand.
Okay, let's stand, boys.
No, let them.
Come in, Romario. Yeah.
Do last.
You had Romario, yeah?
Yes. We'll just. You got it?
Thank you.
Okay, Vishnu, do last. Sit. Let them do it.
Sorry, man.
Anything? You want them to talk to each other?
Okay, yeah.
Discussion. Right?
I don't know, we're going to discussion.
Very hungry now.
You want for your lunch? You're hungry? Yeah, I'm not. All good?